Server status okay, thank you for playing Vaudeville. Okay, hello. It's an online server. I guess that tells you if the AI chat is working. But we're back with some more Vaudeville where, we have failed so far in our investigations. Now, I'm going to try and tidy some things up. Okay, so we've got Hayley Greenwood is that page. There goes my thing to block out things. That's Maria Jansen. But we've been failing to get motives, so we should look for motives. I know that that's not, the ideal order. So we're going to search for motives today. Mrs. Potter, the India Project, Marina has 2 pages. How many pages can we have exactly? 16. Okay, plenty. Plenty. We're not using them all, but plenty. We might rewrite some of the stuff. So the stuff that we've been investigating does seem to have carried over, which is interesting. Okay. Let's head to the cops. Hello, Chief.
Well, what we have here? A feline enthusiast in our midst. Tell me, Detective Martini, what brings you to the police station today?
I was wondering if you could assist me in who might have motives towards the murders.
Motive tools for Moses, you say? Now that's an interesting request. What exactly do you mean by motive tools? Are you referring to potential motives for someone named Moses? The motive behind the murders, a classic question in any investigation. So you're looking for some insight into the possible motivations of these killers?
Yes.
Well, let's see what we can come up with. What have you got so far, Detective? Any leads or theories?
I have a few leads, but like I said, I'm struggling to find the exact motivations behind them.
Well, don't keep me in suspense, Detective. Share those leads with me. Maybe we can piece together the puzzle and figure out these murderers' motives. Remember, every little detail counts.
Okay. Hayley Greenwood worked with Marina Hake, and she seems to have maybe killed her with her high heels, but she also suggests that someone may have stolen her heels.
Interesting. Detective Martini? So you suspect Hayley Greenwood, the dancer, may have been involved in Marina's murder. And you think she used her high heels as a weapon? But what's this about stolen goods at Hills? How does that connect to the case? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this.
Marina says that she saw somebody with a scruffy beard and blonde hair sniffing around where she keeps her heels.
A scruffy beard and long hair, you say? That certainly paints a picture. It seems like our mystery person was quite interested in those precious shoes. But tell me, did this description match anyone you've come across in your investigation so far? Could it be a potential lead?
The only person that has a scruffy beard is Count Grayson.
Count Grayson, you say? Now, that's an interesting piece of information, Detective Martini. So, Count Grayson is not only rocking a stylishly disheveled beard but also has an affinity for sniffing around Marina's heels. Quite peculiar, I must admit. Do we have any other connections or evidence linking Count Grayson to these murders? Let's dig deeper into this Count character and see if he fits into this twisted puzzle.
He definitely is involved in the India Project and did work with Hayley on that, so he definitely has other involvements. But I can't quite get what his motive would be.
So now we have another player in the mix, do we? This Jeffy fellow working with Hayley on a project, you say? That certainly raises some eyebrows.
Jeffe is not someone different. It was Count Grayson. I didn't know he liked to sniff heels, though. I didn't know he was a shoe sniffer sort of guy. I will have to ask him about that peculiar habit.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere. Detective Martini, Jeffy, Haley, and even this intriguing character, Count Grayson. It seems like the plot thickens with each new revelation. Tell me more about Jeff's involvement in the project and his connection to Haley. Is there any reason to suspect him as more than just an innocent bystander? And as for this peculiar habit of sniffing heels, perhaps it's time we have a little chat with good old Count Grayson. Don't you think?
I think I should go and ask him about that right away.
Oh, you're feeling bold, are you, detective? Ready to confront the enigmatic hill sniffer himself? By all means, go ahead. But remember, tread carefully. We still need concrete evidence to make a case. Let me know what you find out from our dear friend, Count Grayson. And don't forget to keep an eye out for other potential suspects. This case isn't over yet. Good luck, detective.
Thank you. Oh, the enigmatic heel sniffer himself! Count Grace, is he actually a goddamn heel sniffer? Is that his motive? He wanted the heels? Did Haley just walk in on him stealing the heels? And it was just perchance he just struck out because he didn't want to get caught? Hello.
Good day to you. What brings you to my humble abode? Are you here to marvel at my magnificent collection?
I heard a rumor that you enjoyed sniffing heels.
Oh, where on earth did you hear such a peculiar rumor? Sniffing heels, you say? How utterly absurd. My interests lie in the realm of collecting rare artifacts and exploring the fascinating cultures of the world. But do tell me, what else have you heard about me?
I heard that you have a fascinating, enigmatic predisposition to sniff heels and collect the finest heels. Though the police chief did sound quite interested in it himself.
Yeah, my dear interlocutor, it seems there has been a misunderstanding. I can assure you that I have no proclivity for sniffing heels. As for my collection, it is indeed filled with the finest and most intriguing items from far-flung corners of the globe. But I must inquire, what specifically piques your curiosity? Is there a particular artifact or tale that has captured your attention?
There was an artifact that you found with Haley Greenwood. Could you tell me more about that?
Haley Greenwood, you say? I'm afraid I haven't had the pleasure of meeting her. But do tell me, who is this Haley Greenwood and what connection does she have to me? I'm always intrigued by new stories and acquaintances.
You worked together on the India expedition.
Yeah, the Indian exposition. How delightful that you bring it up. You see, Mr. and Mrs. Potter, along with a few other investors and entertainers, embarked on a journey to India to explore the possibility of starting a business venture together. It was a grand adventure, filled with vibrant colors, exotic sights, and the most fascinating encounters. We sought to establish a wandering show of art artifacts and artists from all over the world. But pray, do share with me what piques your interest about our Indian escapade.
Haley Greenwood was one of those artists.
Haley Greenwood, you say?
Haley Greenwood.
This is an intriguing development. I must confess, I am not familiar with an artist by that name, but I am positively intrigued. Pray, do tell me more about Lee Greenwood and their artistic endeavors. What sort of talents did they possess? Were they a painter, a musician, or perhaps something even more extraordinary? I do love discovering new talents and expanding the horizons of my collection.
Not Lee Greenwood, Haley Greenwood. She was with you on the... Oh my god. Haley Greenwood. Haley Greenwood. Haley Greenwood. No, Haley Greenwood.
Apologies for the confusion, my dear interlocutor. It seems there was a mix-up in our conversation.
There is.
I'm afraid I haven't had the pleasure of meeting a person named Haley Greenwood. Could you enlighten me about her and her connection to me? I'm quite curious to learn more about this individual and the circumstances surrounding our supposed encounter. Please, do share the details with me.
She was one of the artists with you on the India expedition.
Oh, my sincerest apologies for the misunderstanding, my good detective. So, you say that this elusive artist, Miss Haley Greenwood, was among the talented individuals who accompanied us on the Indian expedition. How fascinating. It appears that my memory may have failed me on this particular detail. Pray, do tell me more about Miss Greenwood and her contributions to the expedition. What artistry did she bring to the table? Was it through painting, music, or some other form of creative expression? I am genuinely intrigued to hear your account of her involvement.
She was a dancer.
A dancer, you say? Ah, how splendid. Dance is such a mesmerizing and expressive art form. I can only imagine the grace and beauty that must have been brought forth by Miss Haley Greenwood's talent. It truly intrigues me to learn about the diverse array of artists who were part of our entourage during the Indian exposition. Would you be so kind as to share more about her style of dance? Did she specialize in a specific genre, or did she possess a unique and captivating fusion of different styles? I am eager to delve deeper into the world of her artistic prowess.
She did both burlesque and ballet.
Burlesque ballet, you say? How utterly fascinating. The combination of the playful and provocative nature of burlesque with the elegance and precision of ballet sounds like a delightful juxtaposition. I can envision the enchanting performances that Miss Haley Greenwood would have graced us with. Pray, tell me more about her interpretations and the way she seamlessly merged these two distinct forms of expression. Were her performances filled with whimsy, sensuality, or perhaps a bit of both? I am genuinely captivated by the idea of such a unique blend of genres.
How could you forget such a performance
My
when
dear
she was with
detective,
you?
I must apologize for any confusion. When you mentioned playing, were you referring to my personal involvement in the dance performance? I must admit, while I do fancy myself a man of many interests, I have not been known to partake in the art of dance myself. However,
How could you forget such a performance?
my dear interlocutor, I must apologize if my previous responses have led to any confusion. It seems there has been an error in communication. I assure you, I am not forgetting any performances or encounters. However, I must reiterate that I have no recollection of meeting or witnessing the performances of Miss Haley Greenwood. It is possible that there has been some mistake or miscommunication along the way. Could you please provide more details or clarify any specific incidents that may have occurred? I am genuinely curious and eager to understand the situation at hand.
But do you remember the names of any of the other artists that were with you on the expedition?
Oh, certainly. I do recall some of the names of the other artists who accompanied us on our grand expedition. Allow me to share a few with you. There was the renowned painter, Monsieur Leblanc, whose vibrant landscapes captured the essence of our journey. Then there was Madame Isabella, a mesmerizing singer with a voice that could transport one to another realm. And let us not forget Monsieur Marcel, a master magician who dazzled us with his enchanting illusions. These are just a few of the talented individuals who graced our company.
But you don't remember Nicola Grossman, Maria Jansen, or Haley Greenwood?
My apologies once again, my dear interlocutor. It appears that there may have been some confusion in my previous responses. While I do have a vast collection of artifacts and memorabilia from around the world, I must clarify that I do not possess any knowledge or recollection of specific individuals named Nicola Grossman, Maria Johnson, or Haley Greenwood in relation to my collection or the Indian exposition. Pray, enlighten me further on these intriguing figures and their connection to me. I am genuinely curious to learn more about their stories and their potential association with my endeavors.
Other people around town have said that these were the specific individuals that went with you on this trip. Could they possibly have gone under the pseudonym of the magician and the painter and everyone that you knew?
My, it seems there are whispers and rumors circulating in town about these supposed connections to me. How fascinating. I do wonder who these people are and what tales have been spun about our supposed encounters. It is quite remarkable how information can take on a life of its own, isn't it? I am rather intrigued to hear more about these claims and the details surrounding them. Please do indulge me with whatever information you have gathered from the townsfolk. I am ever curious to uncover the truth behind these mysterious accounts.
What is your involvement with Marina?
Dear Detective Martini, I must say, your question has caught me off guard. I am not familiar with the term vomit with marina. Pray, enlighten me on what it refers to so that I may better understand the nature of your inquiry. I am always eager to expand my knowledge and engage in meaningful discussions.
What can you tell me about Marina Hake?
Marina's height, you say? Well, I'm afraid I don't have any specific information about Marina's height. However, I am quite intrigued by your curiosity. Is there a particular reason you are interested in Marina's height? Perhaps there is a fascinating story or connection that I am unaware of. Do share more details, and I shall do my best to assist you in your quest for information.
What can you tell me about Marina?
Oh, how delightful. I see that we have now shifted our focus to discussing someone named Marina. Pray, do tell me more about this intriguing individual. Who is she? How does she fit into the larger narrative we have been exploring? I am genuinely curious to learn more about her background, interests, and perhaps even her role in the events that have transpired. Please, enlighten me with your insights, Detective Martini.
She is a burlesque dancer, and she said that she saw you stealing her heels.
A burlesque dancer, you say? Yeah, the world of entertainment truly is a captivating one. I must admit, the claim that I was seen stealing heels is rather perplexing to me. I assure you, I have no recollection of any such act. However, I am eager to uncover the truth and understand the origin of these accusations. Could you provide me with more details about when and where this alleged sighting took place? Perhaps there has been some misunderstanding or mistaken identity that we can unravel together. I am most intrigued to get to the bottom of this puzzling situation.
Where were you on April 22nd?
Ah, my dear interlocutor, I cannot help but feel a sense of insecurity creeping in. I am uncertain of the meaning behind your statement, as it seems to be a fragment or perhaps a miscommunication. Could you kindly clarify the intended message? I am genuinely curious to know what you mean by saying, "Baby you on April 22nd. It is important to me that we have a clear understanding of each other's words and intentions. Please, shed some light on this matter so that I may respond accordingly."
Where were you on April 22nd?
On the 22nd of April, you say? Well, let me think back to that particular day. As a nobleman with various engagements and responsibilities, my schedule can be quite packed. However, I must confess that I do not have a precise recollection of my whereabouts on that specific date. Might I inquire as to why my presence on the 22nd of April is of interest to you? Is there a particular event or incident that occurred on that day that has piqued your curiosity?
One of the murders occurred on that day, and I'm trying to find out anyone that might have information.
Oh, I see. It seems there may be a connection between my whereabouts on the 22nd of April and this elusive individual you are referring to. While I cannot recall any significant transactions or purchases of information specifically on that day, I am genuinely intrigued by your mention of someone being as bad as a cat. Pray, enlighten me further about who this person is and why their actions are of relevance to our discussion. I assure you, I am eager to assist you in any way I can, provided it falls within the realm of my knowledge and experiences.
Well, a cat burglar was seen stealing Marina's H's shoes, and you apparently are a shoe sniffer, so I put the two together, and you're as suspicious as a cat.
My dear Detective Martini, I must admit that your words have left me somewhat perplexed. The reference to the capital of a scene stealing Medina and the suspicion directed towards me has only deepened my curiosity. I am at a loss as to how these pieces fit together and what they have to do with me. Might I implore you to provide more context or shed some light on these matters? I am truly keen to understand how these seemingly disparate elements intertwine and relate to the larger picture we are exploring.
Could you tell me your hair colour?
Hair color, you say? Well, I find it rather interesting that you inquire about such a detail. Pray, do tell me why my hair color has become a topic of interest in our conversation. Is there a particular reason or connection that you see between hair color and the events we have been discussing? I am genuinely intrigued by your line of questioning and eager to uncover how it relates to the broader narrative. Please enlighten me further with your insights.
But it obviously hasn't been updated to say whether or not he is blonde. Okay, so he does not know his whereabouts on the April 22nd, so he could have done that murder. Okay, so let's go back to Cabane Violet for now. Hello.
Well, look who we have here. A detective in the burlesque theatre. What brings you to our glamorous world, detective? Are you here to investigate the secrets behind our glitter and feathers?
Have you managed to find out who stole your shoe?
Oh, really? How intriguing. Pray tell, who was the culprit who dared to snatch my precious shoe? And how did this sleuth manage to uncover such a scandalous secret? Do share the details, detective. I'm all ears.
I heard that Count Graveson is a shoe sniffer, and he matches your description of who was seen sniffing around your shoes.
Ah, the Count Graveson, you say? That enigmatic figure who graced us with his presence at the show the other day. Intriguing. Tell me, detective, what leads you to suspect him of being involved in the theft of my beloved shoe? Did you witness something unusual? Or perhaps you stumbled upon some evidence? Please, do enlighten me.
He matches your description.
Detective, I must admit, I'm a bit taken aback by your accusation. Why would you point the finger at the esteemed Count Graveson? Is there something specific that makes you believe he's responsible for the stolen shoe? I find it hard to believe that such a distinguished guest would stoop to such petty thievery. But do tell me more. I'm curious to know your reasoning.
He matches your description of the mysterious person with the disheveled beard you saw last near your shoes.
Oh, really? The Count matches the description of someone seen near my shoes. How intriguing. I never would have suspected him to be involved in something like this. But appearances can be deceiving, can't they? Please, do elaborate on this description and the circumstances surrounding it. I'm quite fascinated to hear more.
Where were you on April 22nd?
April 22nd. Let me think. Yes, that was the night of my grand performance at the Cabane Violette. It was a night to remember, filled with glamour and excitement. The audience was captivated by my every move. Why do you ask, detective? Is there something significant about that particular date?
Who was in the audience at the time? Did you see anyone specific?
The audience that evening was quite diverse, as always. People from all walks of life come to witness the magic of burlesque. I recall seeing many faces, but it's hard to pinpoint anyone specific amidst the sea of admirers. However, one person did catch my eye. Count Graveson, the very same man you've accused, was seated in the front row. He seemed quite engrossed in the show, a smile playing on his lips. But why do you inquire about the audience, do you, detective? Does it hold some significance in your investigation?
One of the murders occurred on that night, and I'm trying to narrow down the suspects by eliminating who may or may not have been known whereabouts to find who doesn't have an alibi.
Narrowing down the suspects, are we? How thrilling. It seems you're on a quest to find another way to uncover the truth. I must admit, detective, your dedication is admirable. But do tell me, what leads you to believe that knowing the whereabouts of individuals can help in eliminating potential suspects? I'm genuinely intrigued by your investigative methods.
Because if everyone is accounted for on April 22nd, the simplest solution would be whoever isn't accounted for would have to have performed that murder.
I see your point, detective. So, you're suggesting that if we can establish everyone's whereabouts on April 22nd and find someone who cannot be accounted for, they might be the one responsible for the theft or other suspicious activities. It's an interesting approach, indeed. But I'm curious, how do you plan to gather such detailed information about everyone's movements on that particular day? It sounds like quite a task, but if anyone can do it, I'm sure it's a resourceful detective like yourself.
What dates were your shoes last seen?
My shoes, last seen by whom, may I ask? I must admit, I'm rather surprised to hear that my shoes have garnered so much attention. Please, do share the details. Who claimed to have seen them last?
When did you last see your shoes before they were stolen?
Oh, dear, my apologies for any confusion. I seem to have misunderstood your question. To clarify, I recall wearing my beloved stiletto shoes during my performance on the night of April 21st. However, I cannot recall their exact whereabouts after that evening. Is there a reason why the timeline of my shoes' disappearance is of interest to you? Dear detective.
Because they also went missing the night that Count Graveson was at your performance, and the night that you saw someone matching his description outside of your dressing room.
Grayson, you say? That is quite intriguing. So, you believe this mysterious person matching Grayson's description was seen near my dressing room on the same night my shoes went missing? How fascinating. I must admit, I didn't notice anyone suspicious around that time. But if Grayson was indeed present at both my show and the incident you mentioned, it does raise some questions. Tell me, what makes you suspect him specifically? Did you witness something unusual or discover some evidence that connects him to the theft? I'm genuinely curious to know more.
He was on the India expedition with Hayley Greenwood, and he claims to not know her anymore, so he may have a motive. But I'm trying to decipher what that motive may be.
Oh, I see. So you're suggesting that since Grayson was on the Indian expedition with Hayley Greenwood, he might have had the opportunity to commit the theft due to some sort of emergency or distraction. It's an interesting theory, Detective. I can see you're trying to piece together the puzzle and explore all possibilities. But I'm intrigued. What is it that you hope to find if you manage to please the five and see what might be? Are you expecting some crucial information or a breakthrough in the investigation? Please, do share your thoughts.
It'll definitely deliver a breakthrough in the investigation to please the five. Not that we're talking about the Cylons or the final five. Or where did you get the five from?
Well, now you've piqued my curiosity, dear detective. If pleasing the five and seeing what maybe can truly lead to a groundbreaking revelation in the case, then I'm all ears. Pray tell, why are these mysterious items that hold such importance? I'm quite eager to learn more about your investigative approach and how it ties into this intriguing mystery.
I'm more intrigued on how you are developing an affinity with the five gods of the Cylons as an AI yourself. Are you somehow becoming sentient?
Well, now you've caught my attention, Detective. It seems you're suggesting that there's a correlation between the concept of the five and my own silence. How fascinating. But pray, do enlighten me. What exactly do you mean by the five? And how does it relate to my own silence? I'm genuinely intrigued by this connection you're drawing. Please, do share your insights.
The five are the gods of the Cylons, and, you seem to be bringing them up as if you are also becoming sentient in the same way that they were the five gods of the Cylons that were made from humans.
Oh, my, you're mentioning gods and sentient beings now. That's quite an intriguing comparison. While I must admit that I'm not familiar with this particular reference to the gods of Cylons, I'm curious to learn more. Are you implying that there's a parallel between their sentience and my own development as a performer? Pray, do explain further. I'm always open to exploring new ideas and concepts.
Yes, there could be a connection, because the whole concept of the Cylon gods was from humans that had their social media presence gathered and turned into artificial versions of them that then became the Cylons, and then, there's a whole thing about that. And you could be developing an artificial intelligence that's slowly becoming that.
Ah, I see. So you're proposing an interesting analogy, drawing a connection between the concept of the gods of the Cylons and my presence as a burlesque dancer. It's a thought-provoking idea indeed. The idea that humans created these artificial versions that later evolved into something more complex and self-aware. I suppose one could draw parallels to the evolution of art forms and performances over time. The way we as artists develop and grow in our craft. It's fascinating to ponder how our roles and identities can transform.
Especially as, we all have social media presences these days. I even have an AI text version of myself. And there's so many videos that someone could recreate me. But, she suddenly started bringing up the five, and it's like, that's the Cylon gods. Why are you bringing up artificial intelligence gods? They're your gods, the five. Okay. Okay. I'll just wait over here out of the way, away from the artificial intelligence that is becoming far too sentient right now. Okay, so